Welcome to the PastieCast. News, reviews and previews from around Northern Ireland. This is NI in a nutshell.
Hello and welcome to the PastieCast. I'm Laura.
I'm Chris.
And this is PastieBap.com's third monthly podcast. This month we have music from Aquatramp, the brilliant Gut Rot Blues. We also have music from the Wonder Villains and an interview with Emer Coyle where she tells us all about how they got Zola to be in their music video. We also launch our first ever competition for tickets to Shiz the Fest, which is headlined by our favourites, the Pocket Billiards. And apart from that, we'll be looking back at the month that was and we look forward to the month ahead. And
I'm actually just at the minute Facebooking with BeeMickSee to ask if we could use a bit of his song in the podcast, so he's approved that, so that's going to come up as well. It's real time, folks. Just at the start, we're going to give a shout out to our social media stuff. We have a Facebook, PastieBap, just Facebook that. We've been sitting at 422 likes for ages. It's been really annoying me. They keep asking us to pay them to get more likes. I don't think it's a good way to do it, so we're starting to be hashtag get Pastie500 to get us up to 500. Get on board that, it's going to be very exciting.
And to help out with that, our Twitter, our Google+, our Instagram and our SoundCloud are all PastieBap1.
Also, the podcast has just become available on iTunes. You can also get it on YouTube. If you have any other type of phone, anything like that there, just search for PastieBap or PastieCast. You should find it.
And now, the month that was June.
Kicking off our look at the month that was June, thanks to our voiceover guy there, sounds very familiar. We are going to start off with some music from local band Aquatramp, who at the start of this month released Westworld, Tailbearers of the Occident, and we are going to have a track off that, the brilliantly named, and it does sound brilliant as well, Gut Rot Blues.
Gone from bad to worse, the kind of thing that y'all look out. I ain't no black. Down, down, man, do I display the face of some wanted man? Just play the guitar and this here bar, but if the comes coming on the run real far. I'm strumming, I'm humming. Well, I'm strumming and humming about days gone by, singing gut rotten blues till my tears run dry. Killing and stealing was all that would matter all the way through the nose. See me on a platter, but that all changed when I found these chords. Till I turned myself in just to claim an award. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. This bar, it's caused me a lot of scars. The saloon don't wanna hear no tune. Can't blame my crimes and rob me fame. Couldn't just quite record all the rest when the enemy up out of my deck. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright. Hot lips all night, sing gut rock blues when the moon shine bright.
That was Aquatramp there with Gut Rot Blues. I actually reviewed their album.
EP, I would say bit rockingly good. Rock you out of your boots good. That tune anyway, I think it's really good. It's a little bit of a divergence from the stuff I heard them play live about 6 months ago.
I've never actually heard them before, and every time I hear the name Aquatramp, I always think, I don't know, they don't sound like what they should sound like at all.
It makes them sound more sludgy rock than they actually are, whereas that song's quite upbeat and stuff like that there. You've written Clutch, Queens of Stone Age, I would go with that there. It's good. It's a good track.
Sort of influences, but I always think they sound a bit like $1 Million Reload as well, another Northern Irish band.
A $1 Million Reload, a little bit sleazier, a little bit less southern, more Molly Crew. But all this pales in comparison to Laura's One True Love, like Busted.
Yeah.
Talk us through it.
Well, I've seen Busted on their own a few times as a teenager, I think they used to be called. I don't know,
Still
is that
are.
a technical term? Yeah, I went to see McBusted. Never really a fan of McFly at all, but Busted were going to be there, so I had to suck it up and go. And I think the thing that I noticed the most was that the crowd. It's the first gig I've been to in a long time where the crowd were all my age and not...
Really young.
Yeah,
Like really
15.
young girls and really old ladies.
Everyone was my age, which meant that it was really good. Everyone was sort of old enough to know their old tunes and out for a good time. They haven't changed a bit, they just had fun the whole time,
There is talk now of them doing an album together as well.
which would be excellent. I would
Epic.
be all for that.
Anyway, swiftly moving on to something a bit more local. We started this month and we done 3 different pictures of the province on Donegal. Our resident photographer Neil Carey has moved to Donegal and so has started taking pictures with the Belfast area. So if you go on the site and you can just do a search for Donegal, you can see some really breathtaking shots. Northern Ireland is very photographic, hence the whole Game of Thrones thing here.
I was going to say Land of the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, after that, the third part of Tejas Verdes, which we talked about the first 2 parts last month, and this concluding part was breathtaking.
It was so different than any other. I know I said before in the other reviews that the way the theatre was laid out was different, but this was completely different. There was a road above you.
Yeah, so in the main space in the Mac, they took out all the seats, so they just had a massive empty room, and they had built what looked like a sort of post-apocalyptic, which isn't a valid term because it's post-apocalypse, there's nothing left, but anyway, a post-apocalyptic road that was all broken up, and it was about, say, 8 to 10 feet above you, rubble all around the ground.
There was church pews at the
Yeah.
front and at the back, which you didn't really realise the significance of until you got a wee bit through the play. Just the way it was laid out was so interesting, and it really made you feel like you were a part of it.
And the brilliant actresses, mostly the same actresses from the other 2 plays, but then I think there was one new one. There was a sort of church bell in the corner and flitted between the past, where they were talking about what had happened to these women in these like borderline concentration camps pretty much in Chile, and today, you know, how that was reflected. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Not something I would have considered before to be in my wheelhouse, but I really enjoyed it.
Every time I told people that we were going to see Chilean plays
On women's rights.
women's rights and politics, everyone sort of rolled their eyes, but
Well, even more so with me, because of my lack of being a woman. Anyway, we have also started to feature on the site 10 things to do in Belfast on the weekends and during the week. This is supplied by Northern Ireland Tourist Board, so we're bringing that to you. Keep up to the site. The Northern Ireland Tourist Board have a website, Visit Belfast, and for whatever way they've got this whole thing instructed, it's incredibly hard to find their latest posts and this information. So there's us and a couple other sites are taking it and putting our site to help spread the word on that. So keep your eye out for more of that coming up on weekends and throughout the week. Went to Metro Kitchen this month, just opposite the Empire, and it was absolutely delicious.
it was delicious.
Really good food, wasn't expecting much. It's actually like a restaurant that's attached to a hotel, Best Western, the Townhouse, something like that there. Crescent Townhouse. And went in, we had got like a treat ticket thing or something like that there. Went in, there was 4 of us had this treat ticket or whatever, and 2 of us didn't. But they had like a special menu if you dine a certain time, I think, and it's like two courses and a glass of wine for 15 quid. Really good. Kind of fine dining, but not stupid fine dining, as I would put it. I mean, not measly portions.
It was actually one of Joris Min's top 5 homegrown restaurants as well.
Min.
And if anyone who knows us know that we are great fans of Joris Min. And
Love a bit of Joris Min.
his restaurant knowledge.
To me, he's the Mark Kermode of restaurant reviews, in that he can tell you his point of view, but also break it down for you and say, you know, such and such may enjoy this or whatever. So, and I like the way he goes a couple of times, don't just go once. Anyway, Metro Kitchen, highly recommended. I had the meat platter, whatever they call it, mixed grill, and it had everything from black pudding to locally reared sausages, steak. It was all in there. It was all really well done, really well presented. Lovely ambience, uplighting with like decorations from local, the big fish and Harlan Wolf and all that. They're all really, really, really well done, and I would recommend that heartily to anyone else. Big one after that was MCN Comic Con in Belfast, and this was massive, by the way, for Belfast. I got my first press pass. I was walking around like a proud parent with that there, and they told me not to steal it. I did steal it. I'm sorry, MCM. It was my first press pass. I think everybody would have done the same.
It's up on the wall, it's framed now.
It's amazing. So it was really great. We done our first video review from that there. It's got about something like 200 views a minute, which is absolutely brilliant. It takes a bit longer to do those things, to edit them had some technical difficulties, but in the end it turned out pretty good. Also saw the guys from Red Dwarf and saw Hannah Spirit from S Club 7, who I accosted.
Your childhood hero.
I accosted as she was walking to her signing and just shouted, "Hannah from S Club!" And then she looked round and I was like, oh my god. But anyway, I grabbed her and I got a photo with her, so yeah, that was a highlight. EP review, music.
Yep, I reviewed 17-year-old Patrick Wright's
17.
EP You Grew Up. I know it really makes me feel like I haven't achieved very much in my life at all.
Well, how do you think I feel?
He is Mere Moths.
Worse.
Under the name Mere Moths, and yeah, his EP You Grew Up, it was released earlier in the year and I reviewed the tracks from it. I think he used the word haunting to describe him. He's so young, but he's very talented and he plays guitar as well and he sings, and it's just very unique artist.
Moving on, the Wonder Villains released Zola again for the World Cup, something we know nothing about. England's out, I know that. Seems to bring great joy to most sides of the community, and the USA are doing well, I guess. I don't know. Anyway,
no idea.
They released a Zola for Gianfranco Zola, who is an Italian player, and they managed to get him in the video for that there, so there was much jubilation about that. And go and check out the video for Zola. It's very good. I don't play football, but the guy seems to be really good. He's kicking stuff around, he's doing tricks.
We actually talk about that a bit later on with Emer Coyle from the Wonder Villains as well.
Ernest and the Pale Moon at the Mill. That was our pick of the week by Les Enfants Terribles. That was at theatre at the Terrible. My French is awful. That was at theatre at the Mill. Something I wanted to see. Didn't get a chance. It was only on for one night, but it looked great reviews. So I'll be looking out for that. I literally didn't know it was happening. That's why we made it pick of the week, trying to help get a bit more people to know about it. We missed this when it first came out. Spotify, they revealed
their top 10 streaming artists for different places around the UK, I think it was. So we put up Belfast's results on the site. As we said, that maybe the actual artists themselves probably aren't that shocking or anything like that, but the order they're in is quite different from other places.
So starts off number 10, Mumford & Sons, Eminem, Calvin Harris, Daft Punk, Imagine Dragons, Arctic Monkeys, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis, One Direction, Avicii and Bastille. Bastille's number 1. It's for 2013. That has blown my mind. I do not know a Bastille song at all. I know La Bastille in Belfast. Delicious.
Do you know that?
Sing me one.
Showing your age there.
I don't know it at all.
I sing that one where they put all the 80s tunes into one.
Nope.
It's good.
And Avicii, does he do the country and western song? Does he?
Yeah.
Is that him?
Really annoying one, yeah.
I know it.
We also went to see Next Door at the Mac, which is by, I think it's a Danish company called Out of Balance, with a Z.
The Z.
And it was a very surreal experience. It was upstairs in the Mac and we went in and it was only about 50 minutes long. It was perfect. It was perfect length, but I think everyone sort of felt, is this a break? Do we go home now? It was a strange experience. Basically it told the story of a guy called Ivan, a Danish man, and his neighbour passes away and he sort of thinks, wait a minute, I literally know nothing about my neighbour. I don't even know anything about his life. Don't even know his name. And it's based on a true story, or is a true story. The actor himself is actually called Ivan, and it's to do with the 20th anniversary of the Berlin Wall, and it's about sort of crossing boundaries and about how he takes us through the story of his life then to sort of introduce himself. And he has a friend from Finland called Pekka, and the whole thing is just very surreal. It's the only way I can describe it. They act things out, they use a lot of mime. And
so it's not for kids?
No.
I thought it looked a bit like it was for kids, and they seem to be doing more, especially they've got this Pick and Mix festival coming up, and they've got the actual times on it, because it's, to help families, which I think is useful, to help families pick things that are maybe if the kids have shorter attention span, stuff like that there. I thought maybe that looked a bit like it was for kids.
No, the way it was done though was sort of very childlike, and very the way they acted things out and the way they ran about the stage. And halfway through they got us all to introduce ourselves to the people beside us. And
so you knew your neighbour?
They at the end as well, that we all went down onto the stage and they gave us a shot of some Danish liqueur and we all did a toast, and then we were sort of encouraged to chat to each other. Not just because it's drink, but the Mac's good for things like that, really, like immersive theatre. It was really good. That's why it was the whole thing was just odd, and halfway through as well they passed around a bowl of sweets that you just had to pass around and pass the next person. Sounds good. Was this upstairs? Yeah, it was upstairs in the Mac. It was really, you sort of went away feeling quite warm and fuzzy. It's a good space to have up there. And then Flaws, that was our tune for the weekend. Harsh Words Through Tangled Wires. I've seen quite a few people were sharing this out on Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that there. Good tune, catchy. Rocksmith
is how I described them, so go and check that out. It's worth looking up. You can find it on the site, or you can just hashtag NI Music is always a good way on Twitter, finding new bands that are NI at the minute that are worth checking out. Some not worth checking out, but most are. The whole month we also ran our Sunday Funnies, which we're doing every month, which is just a cartoon that our in-house graphic designer Paul, who is my brother, does. This month he was in hospital to get a lobe of his lung out, and the most random of things. So he's not been doing as many cartoons recently, but we wish him speedy recovery. He's doing fine, by the way. He's off the morphine now. But worth checking out his cartoon. The link to his site, theskeletonblog.com. Bit of a twisted mind, but
Don't we all?
we called out for new writers. We got quite a few responses. We are in the process of kind of inducting these guys with knives and glass and some sort of blindfold test. So we're going to have much more capacity to cover much more events in the coming future, which is great because we're getting far more requests and there's far more things we want to cover than two of us can manage. The Queen visited.
Yay.
And nothing happened. Nothing was bad. Nobody get killed. There was barely a banner. It was actually right next to where I work normally. And I just was working. I didn't even know. And then somebody at work showed me the photo, and I was like, "Oh yeah."
That
But
guy.
you can get near it. You can get near it anyway. I
Yeah.
knew you wouldn't be able to get near it, but
And it was packed.
yeah. But it went off with a hitch, so that's great.
That wee boy did a selfie or something.
That's right. That went viral. Should be in Northern Ireland.
Oh,
There you go.
missed a trick there.
Missed a trick. The Belfast Yank BeeMickSee released a song, Belfast Slang, where he talks about all the slang in Belfast. And coming up in September, he also has album launch coming out for his new album, The Belfast Yank, aptly named. He seems to be a video and song making machine at the minute. He's really good to see live. And we're just going to have a clip of the song so you can hear a bit of what he's talking about.
We say top, you say bun. We say bop, you get chlamydia. We get the clop, we go for a kip, you go for a lop. Your gobs, your trop, the bag means top, shape means crop. We burn you up, what we call a 10 use no as a card. Our jellies, your jello, your jellies are jar. Belfast, Belfast, wonderful time. The cave house up, the shipyard stag. The big bong moon with a jovial tone. Belfast, 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 wonderful time. Cave house up, the shipyard stag. The big bong moon with a jovial tone. Belfast, Belfast.
Great wee song there, and check out the video on the website as well. It's good to hear somebody like addressing a lot of the language that we say here.
The video is quite good as well. It's got some sort of visual things to add to it. It's quite
a bit
funny.
not safe for work, and it's
Very.
all like retro style. This month also Slim's Healthy Kitchen open Victoria Square. I have been to the one on the Lisbon Road. Laura
I have not been
has
there.
never eaten
I'm very
healthy in her life.
excited.
So the Healthy Kitchen in Victoria Square, I've been past that, and it's an express. So it's more geared to take away, but they have a dining bit that's a little bit like Boojum, and the queue is around the block. But they seem to be getting through it quite quickly considering the number of people, and I'm sure it'll get faster as they've been doing it longer, but it's busy enough anyway, so...
They also make sort of meals that you can order, like your meals for
Yeah, like
dinner
for
for
the
the
week.
week.
Yeah.
Which is quite good. The prices don't seem to be too bad, and if you're on a diet or something like that, it seems very good actually.
I don't think they're doing that in the one at Victoria Square yet, but hopefully they will bring it in. Northern Ireland, few things here. Chinese prison note found in somebody's pants pocket at Primark. Is it real? Is it just somebody having a prank? Who knows? It's to publicise like amnesty or something like that there. Good job, guys. DOE road safety advert as well in Northern Ireland.
It is insane.
I still haven't watched it. I've
Have
seen
you
it.
not?
I saw a still of like this bunch of kids sitting there in a car coming towards it. I was like, oh my god, that looks awful. And I love horror movies, but oof, that
You
looks...
should definitely do a reaction video of you watching that ad.
Okay, we'll do a reaction video to me watching that ad. I've never cried
Ever in
on
his
the
entire
internet
life.
before. A few other things. Pick of the week was at Pick and Mix Festival, and actually that's coming up this week. I'm going to go and see Little Jokes, which has been the buzz of this Pick and Mix Festival, which seems to be a thing the Mac does to try a few things out, see what's sticking, see what's hot, get people in for like slightly shorter shows.
Sometimes they then bring them back for a longer run as well.
Yep, so they're sometimes trying new theatre trips, stuff like that there to see how it works. News, we featured Chris, what is happening to Auntie Annie's? The good news now is Auntie Annie's is open again. It's called The Bar With No Name. It's painted a really garish yellow outside. Apparently the bouncers have like question marks on their clothes, and it's all a bit odd.
Mysterious.
But they're having more of an emphasis on craft beers and all, which I don't think can be considered like a bad thing. We'll just see how it goes. I haven't been yet, I've seen some photos, but it's open, and that's the main thing. More pubs for Belfast, more places for live music, which is seriously lacking again. Well, although there's a few opened, Dirty Onion and White's open again, stuff like that there, but you know, like live bands. And rounding things off was the breaking news: Public Enemy are going to play the Limelight. Don't believe the hype, Laura.
I am not.
Do you believe the hype? Yeah.
I'm too young.
Public Enemy
too
number
young
1.
for all that.
Anyway, yeah, so Public Enemy, that's on my bucket list to see Public Enemy. I've seen Ice-T before, true fact, but I've never seen Public Enemy, so I get that in, and then once the Ice Cube, that's all the old school rappers done. And we finished off the month with our tune for the weekend, which was Team RKT Rare Candy Talk.
Rocket. Team Rocket.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Well, talk me through it, Laura.
It's called Rare Candy. They sound, I don't know if anyone remembers, but Hello Goodbye, or a bit like Metro Station or something like that. Their music, I think they call themselves chiptune, so it's sort of Game Boys and things like that. Sound a bit Atari-ish, but yeah, it's good. It's good, feel good tune.
We need more of that for the summer. So that leads us on to the Wonder Villains. Big month for the Wonder Villains, released their album.
Yep, they released their album Rocky, and I had a chat with Emer Coyle from the Wonder Villains, and that's what you're going to hear next. I'm Laura, and I'm from PastieCast, and I'm here with Emer from the Wonder Villains.
Hey!
Your debut album, Rocky, has just been released, and I know we've had a bit of a debate over here on our side about where the name came from, so if you could just explain a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, Rocky is named after this guy we met, Rocky O'Reilly. He is our manager, and he produced our album, and he's managed us since I've been 16, so for the past 5 years. And he's just taught us so much about being in a band and taught us how to rock. So we thought we would dedicate the album to him. We told him, we were like, dude, we're going to call the album. And he just said, no, you're not. And then that was it.
It's not about the film then?
No, believe it or not, I haven't even seen them.
So speaking of Rocky, just talking about one of the tracks on the album, Debbie, it's one of my favourite tracks, and it reminds me a bit of something you would hear from Malibu Shark Attack. So have you been influenced by his music?
Yeah, well, we had our album recorded before I even heard any of the Malibu Shark Attack stuff, but since I've heard that album, I've absolutely loved it. It's so good. It's just so fast and fun, and I actually got to sing them one of the tracks on their album as well.
So I'm the same age as you, I'm 21 as well, so I always find that I can really relate to your songs, and when I first saw you back in Glasgow a couple of years ago, you were singing about TV shows and people on films and things like that, and I know as a 15-year-old I could really relate. So do you find that now that you're a bit older, you're writing about different things and your music's sort of taking a different turn?
Yeah, definitely. When I was 15, all I knew was TV shows and superheroes. But now I'm 21. You know, I've been hungover. I've moved away from home. I've dyed my hair blonde. I've just done more stuff, and there's so much more stuff to write about, I guess. So the New Year songs are definitely a lot less about TV, but still with the same lightheartedness, but just about more real life stuff, I guess.
Do you ever find it hard to sort of keep them lighthearted, or is that just something that comes naturally?
It's just I'm such a non-serious person that I don't even have to try to. I don't think I could be serious, especially with music. It's just it's always a fun thing for me. I don't think I would really want to write a song that would be heart-wrenching, I guess. When you're on stage, all I want to do is have fun, so may as well sing about stuff that makes me happy.
We have to talk about it in honour of the World Cup, Zola. Where did that song come from?
Kieran and Ryan, the two lads in the band, were jamming a few years ago, and they were watching a Weezer song leaked online, but there was no music video yet. And someone had just put a video of Zola scoring all these goals, and then the guys were just kind of like, God, Zola, he's a cool guy, great footballer. And I'd never heard of him. I wasn't well into vintage football. But now, having met him and stuff, he's just the nicest guy.
You got actual Zola to be in your video. How did you manage to get that?
Yeah, it was incredible. We our friend who we went to school with in Derry went to university in London, and he met a girl, and her surname was Zola, and it turned out it was Zola's daughter. And he was like, you have to hear my friend's band. And he played her Zola, and then she showed her dad, and then we were like, God, we're doing a music video. I wonder if we ask him. So Facebook messages happened between his daughter and us, and then he agreed, and we met up in London, and it was absolutely incredible.
Did he teach you any tricks?
Yeah, me and Shailene were unbelievably bad at football. I've never really played before, and he showed us so much stuff, just so obvious stuff I'm sure people learn when they're 5, but I just never did. We would nearly say we're like nearly good at football. He was so good. It was incredible.
Does he like the song?
Yeah, he was just like, I really like the song, it's really catchy, and which is just really incredible because we've been singing that song for so long, and it's about him, and then for him to say he liked it and made the video, it was amazing. Like, we explained the lyrics to him because it was like we were making fun of him, and then we were like, no, it was such a fun day.
So you're not making fun of him, you're not having a go at him?
No, because I always thought it was pretty obvious, but it's like, we're saying, the keeper from the other team is saying to Zola, you're dead when this is over, because Zola's making him look bad because he scored the goals.
So your songs, they were sort of written over a long period of time, and you combined them to make the album as it is now. Do you have any plans to start another one from scratch, or are there older tunes that you're sort of hoping to release in the future?
I know, that all of our songs, like, that was like total, we weren't really writing an album, it was more like a collection of our songs started really from the past like 5 years. Now, we've kind of drawn a line on old songs, and now when we start doing the second album, it's going to be such a different experience.
And the question I know I've always wanted to ask, why are you called the Wonder Villains?
To be honest, there's a whole load of stories going around. It's always been a name. Like, I just remember I started this band really, and it was just me on my own for like a year doing it. And Wonder Villains, it just came to me as if it's always been in my head. I have no idea. It's kind of superhero-y, it's kind of funny, and it's cool. WV. I just think it's a great name.
It's catchy. It's really catchy.
Yeah, thank you. I love it.
What is your favourite Northern Irish band at the minute, or who do you think is going to be big this summer?
Ooh, a great question. Let me just think here. We got to, for our album launch on Saturday, for the first time, it was like our show, and we got to pick our own support. And there's a great band called Hot Top. I don't think they played many live shows, but the recordings they have online, they're so good, and they played on Saturday, and they were fabulous. I think Hot Cops. Great name as well.
It's been great talking to you. Thanks for agreeing to do this.
No worries. Thank you very much for calling.
And so we have picked off their new album. Well, Laura has picked her favourite. Zola has been everywhere. Presume everybody's heard it. Laura has went against the grain and chosen
Debbie.
Why?
Debbie is my favourite track on the album, and as I said, I just think it sounds a bit like Malibu Shark Attack, a bit like BeeMickSee. I think it sounds very Northern Irish, and I think it's just a very interesting tune, something that you wouldn't necessarily think that they would produce, but it's a good tune.
And so here is, by the Wonder Villains, Debbie.
Young fresh, we make a scene. Can't wait to tell my friends I've been doing this for 3 days in a row. When we get in, we dance away, not thinking of how much we'll pay for all this fun when we wake up in the morning. Celebrate all night long with all my friends and all our songs. I'm pretty sure I'll see you at the show. Run around and see what's best, depends on what you say next, but secretly I want to stay right here. This is how we have fun, in the sun, drinking beer and rockets flowing, take our time. Raise your hand, become the queen, can't wait to find out what it means to be like this for 3 days in a row.
the month it will be July. And I'll keep doing those until somebody writes us a nice jingle. Laura loves it.
It's awful. I really hate it.
So, write us a nice jingle. We won't have to do any more. Musicians out there, great way to plug your band. Anyway, we are going to talk about the month that will be July. So, Thrash City continues with Anthrax on the 1st of July. We had Slayer last month, like a couple of days ago. Now Anthrax, keep it going. Cathedral Quarter Comedy Club, which is in the Green Room on the 2nd of July, 8 p.m, $5 in. If you don't have $1, they will take pounds. Intimate venue, but should be funny. Then the main thing for July, because you might notice it's quite a sparse month, because we have a little thing called the 12th, and it kind of messes everything up, just events wise. So Tanglewood is on the 4th and 5th of July. Laura has been examining the people playing.
There's quite a lot of sort of different bands. I don't know, we're used to going to Glastonbury and Pickstock.
No more.
Things like
Both,
that.
no more.
Where you get sort of the same bands playing at both. But these are, I just looking here, there's sort of ones like the Bonnevilles that we've seen before. Concrete Circus, which are ska. They're quite good too.
That's good.
Ports, which used to be Little Bear, but they changed their name for legal reasons or something like that.
They did, because they want to go to America and do stuff. Ocean Colour Scene, they're a fairly big band. And Terry Hooley, anything that's put on Northern Ireland, Terry Hooley, he'll be there.
They also have the Gramophone tent on the Friday night, which I think should be called the Pasty Bap tent, because two of the acts, Amanda St John and Mere Moths, have both been featured on the site.
And that
I'd like
should
to
be
think
reason
that's
enough.
purely just due to our exposure.
It's probably because we won't pay them, they won't rename that, but I think if you're going, you should probably just refer to that as the PastieCast.com stage
Hopefully it'll catch on.
the whole weekend. The Vals launched their single, A Quiet Part of Town, on the 5th in the Students' Union, so that's $5 in, but you get a CD as well, which is quite good. Same night, Sunglasses After Dark with Saberjets in the Menagerie. Saberjets, brilliant. Been going for 20 years now. 20,
Seriously?
yeah, 20 goddamn years of balls to the wall, rockabilly, sleaze, punk rock madness. Brilliant, great to watch. I really like them. Sunglasses After Dark, supposed to be a night, I haven't been, but I would like to go some point. So it's a good night. Putting on in the Menagerie, haven't been there in a while. Then on the 6th is the Cathedral Quarter Quiz at the Mac,
The Cathedral Quarterly Quiz.
hosted by
Paul Curry, the
Paul
one and
Curry.
only.
Every month, Paul Curry's got something to do.
The only man that our father follows on Facebook.
as he's
His
now
claim to fame.
officially known. We had asked him previously for an interview. He was busy at the time. We're going to get one some point. He does a comedy club. We're going to maybe interview him about that there. We've got to get him on some point. We love pretty much everything he does. Rhinos is
He's
great as
rare.
well. Yeah, and actually the first Cathedral Quarter Quiz at the Mac I was at was hosted by him, resplendent in his blue Ron Burgundy suit and white Cuban heels. Then there's not a lot. There's honestly not a lot until Orange Fest occurs, as it's now known. Orange Fest, which used to be known as the 12th of July, of course now predominantly a celebration of everything Holland based.
We were actually just on trying to look at the website there to see what was going on, and it was.
It's really hard. So
Looks like it was made in about the year 2000.
looks like it's made in GeoCities, and they have like little burning icons and stuff, and like a sign for an email that's flapping, and a guest book. It's odd. Can't get too much information other than there will be a parade through the middle of town. They keep using this picture. There's a big picture of all these soldiers on a boat, and I went last year. I took my wife, who's Scottish, she hadn't never been to 12th or whatever, took her to see this, didn't see the boat raging. So if the boat's going to be on, people know what time the boat's going to be there. I would like to know, because I would like to see the boat. It's an impressive display. If they could pull it off without there being any kerfuffle, that would be great. Thanks, guys. I'm sure probably playing this
That would
podcast
be
is probably what's going to do it.
Wonders.
That's probably what's going to do it. So check that out, or don't. But either way, there's not much else going on. But on the 12th of July, Voodoo have decided to open to bring a touch of normality. As I said, Voodoo seems to be open 365 days a year. I think they're probably opening Christmas.
They love it.
They were opening Easter Sunday. Anyway, and they are having Punkorama Presents XSLF, Wasted Talent, Stiff Little Busker, and Terry Hooley's DJing everything.
He's there. He's everywhere.
He's at everything. So if you are opening a letter today, Terry Hooley, he'll be there to DJ. And I've heard him DJ as well. He does some good tunes. He likes he's having the time of his life, which I think he is. So he just drinks, he DJs, good stuff. Next, Grand Opera House. Talk to that, Laura.
They have Guys and Dolls from their Summer Youth Project. Tickets are a tenner, and it's 24th to the 26th of July. And they also have Dirty Dancing on from the West End, so there's a lot of musical action going on there, if that's your thing.
Dirty Dancing.
You love Dirty Dancing, don't you?
No, don't care for it. I like Roadhouse, which has Patrick Swayze in it, but there's not a musical of it yet. I would like to see a musical number. There's a brilliant scene in it where he sews up his own cut because he's hard as nails. So I'd like to see a musical number of Patrick Swayze sewing up his own cut.
Pretty special.
Is that there to happen?
Also in the lyric, there is a musical theatre version of Macbeth. Now, we're not entirely sure how that's going to go down, but it sounds like something that I want to see.
And we're going to have a review.
We are.
Hells to the yeah. So I done Macbeth in school, so I understand it.
Every word.
Yeah, as Shakespeare's can be quite impregnable, I think is the right word. So I'd be quite excited to see that as well.
I think part of it is by the same guy that did Novelli's War, which we reviewed a couple of months back, which is another very interesting performance.
Which is good. Then PW in Ballycastle on the 27th at the Marine Hotel. So PW, who I will be seeing this weekend, we've just done this podcast before I go to see them. They'll not have another show for 2 months till the end of August, I think, in Belfast. But keep your eyes and ears out for them. They're doing great stuff. They're getting really popular. Their shows are selling out, so worth keeping an eye on for some cheap wrestling entertainment for the whole family. Also coming up this month, Shizney Promotions has a couple of things going on the 17th of July. They have Gerard I2, Sketch 9 and Omar, another one's playing at Voodoo. They also have The Dreadful, Stonemasons, The Keep and Ryan Fitzsimmons DJing at that there at Voodoo on the 25th of July, and that leads us up to the 29th of August where they are presenting Shiz the Fest. So we have teamed up with Shizney to offer 2 tickets in our competition. This is the first competition we've done. We'll see how it goes. It'll all be fair and above board, I promise you. Check out our website, Facebook, Twitter. It'll be a share and retweet kind of deal like sort of thing to get 2 tickets to Shiz the Fest. It's a great festival headlined by Pocket Billiards, which we love. If you want to read reviews, go on the website, look for Pocket Billiards. Gas Can Ruckus, another great band, seen them at Glasgow a couple of times. The Grieved Palm, The Late Twos, loads of other bands.
In an Instant as well, which we had, one of their songs is our iTunes for the weekend recently as well, if you want to hear some tunes by them.
So that's going to be in the line. That's going to be in Limelight 1 tickets. If you don't win them through us, it will be a tenner, which is great. That's going to be like it's basically a festival, but in a nightclub. So you'll be clean toilets and you don't have to sleep in a crappy tent and all that sort of stuff. So like I said, check out our webpage, check out our Facebook. We'll have it pinned up there and all that sort of stuff. And we will run a competition there to win tickets. We're currently just finalising how we're going to do that there. So it's worth checking out. It's worth checking out the lineup for that. If you search for Shizney, SHIZZNIGH on Facebook or Twitter, you'll get more details of that as well. And so we come to the end of our 3rd podcast. I've been Chris.
And I've been Laura.
And we thank you for tuning in. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, check out the website, and until next time, that has been NI in a podcast.
Hashtag Get Pasty 500.
Get Pasty 500. Keep doing it. Let's get Pasty 500. Let's make it a priority.
Welcome to the PastieCast. News, reviews and previews from around Northern Ireland. This is NI in a nutshell.